Caribbean history and culture is a beautiful mosaic of people from all across the world. It's a fabric woven from pirates and rum, slavery and rebellions, swashbuckling adventures, and exciting West Indian vacations. A truly fascinating story. Join us for all this and more on the Aaron Darcy Project. Hi there, and welcome once again to the Aaron Darcy Project, where we look at various aspects of Guyanese and Caribbean history and culture. I am your host, Andrew, and today we'll take a look at the city of Georgetown in Guyana. We are joined once again by our friends, Jonathan and Deborah, who will be talking about today's subject. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode of the Aaron Darcy Project.
This info, right?
Right.
Well, we're going deep. History, culture, even how Georgetown's practically in a wrestling match with nature itself.
Yeah, Georgetown really shows you how the environment isn't just a backdrop, like, it really shapes a city's whole story.
Right. Okay, so first things first, the name Georgetown. Sounds super British, yeah.
Totally. But it wasn't always Georgetown.
Oh.
Back in the 17th century, the Dutch founded it, called it Stabroek. It was this trading post.
The Stabroek.
But then, 1781, the Brits take over. Gone. Hello, King George III, hence Georgetown.
Talk about making your mark on a place. But they didn't stop at the name, did they? The city layout is like a grid system, right? Not exactly what you picture in South America.
Nope, that grid's straight out of 19th century British town planning.
Yeah.
Wide streets, those big public squares. They really tried to make it their own. You know?
Impose a little order on the tropics. I see it. Okay, so picture this. We're walking down one of these streets, right? And bam, St. George's Cathedral. But here's the catch. It's wood. Like a lot of wood.
And not just any wooden structure. This is one of the tallest wooden churches in the entire world.
Okay, now that's a fun fact.
But it's more than that. There's a reason behind it.
I'm sensing a, but wait, there's more. Moment.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Why build with wood when you're in a place known for its rainforests?
Good point.
Well, back in the day, Georgetown was a huge airy timber exporter. They had wood coming out their ears. So they used it.
Resourceful.
Right. And it created this totally unique style.
So it's like, we've got all this wood, let's get building. Practical and stylish. But we've got to ask, why are so many buildings up on those brick pillars? Was that like the in thing back then?
No, those pillars weren't about style. They were about survival. Georgetown's right on the coast, remember?
Right.
Those pillars, they're lifesavers, literally. They lift the buildings above the floodwaters.
Talk about thinking ahead. That's some serious foresight.
Yep, building a city in that environment. You got to respect the water. Those pillars are a constant reminder.
Adapt or be swamped, right? Speaking of adapting, let's talk about the people who actually call Georgetown home. It's a real melting pot, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Georgetown's like the heart of Guyana, beating with all that history and diversity.
So if I land in Georgetown, what's the cultural mix I'm going to see just walking down the street?
Oh, man. Get ready for a sensory overload in a good way.
I'm ready. Lay it on me.
Seriously, it's like you've got these smells of like Indo-Guyanese curries, right?
Yeah.
But they're mixing with like the sounds of Afro-Guyanese reggae. It's blasting from the storefronts.
Okay, I'm getting serious FOMO just imagining those smells.
And then you might catch a whiff of Chinese stir-fry as you walk past a Hindu temple. It's wild.
See, that's what makes traveling so incredible. It's like you can read about it all you want, but nothing compares to that firsthand experience.
And Georgetown does not disappoint. But to really get it, you got to understand the history, you know?
Okay, take me to school.
So you've got a significant Afro-Guyanese population. Descendants of enslaved Africans brought over during colonial times, right?
Right.
But then you've also got a huge Indo-Guyanese community. Their ancestors were indentured laborers brought over after slavery was abolished.
Two very different histories shaping the city we see today.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. Add in a Chinese community, also with roots in indentured labor, and then the indigenous Amerindians who are there way before colonization.
Okay, so we're talking Afro-Guyanese, Indo-Guyanese, Chinese, Amerindian. That's a lot of layers.
Right, layers upon layers of history, all right there.
So how does all of that actually play out in everyday life, besides the amazing smells, obviously?
Well, the food scene is off the hook, for one thing. I'm talking about curries with Caribbean spices, Chinese-inspired noodles with a local twist. It's a whole culinary adventure waiting to happen.
All right, you've convinced me I'm booking a flight just for the food.
Oh, it's not just the food. We're talking festivals that blend all these different traditions. Music that's got African rhythms, Indian melodies, and Western influences all mixed up together.
A true melting pot.
Right. And even the architecture's got that blend. You see those grand wooden cathedrals next to colorful Hindu temples. It's something else.
You know, it reminds me, we were talking about those wooden buildings earlier, the ones built on pillars because of the flooding.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, with Georgetown being right there on the coast, how do they deal with that constant threat of flooding?
See, that's the thing about Georgetown. It's not just about adapting to the environment. It's about straight up fighting to coexist with it.
Okay, so what's their game plan?
Well, remember those pumps we mentioned for draining the city? Still going strong. 12 major pumps, constantly running.
Wow!
Yeah, and they've got engineers on those things 2E07.
Talk about dedication. But I'm picturing, like, a major storm surge. Can pumps really handle all that?
They're a key part of it, for sure. But picture this. You're standing on the coast, right? Waves crashing in. But then, a massive wall.
They built a wall.
Seawalls. Barriers built to take the full force of the Atlantic.
That's hardcore. Like, they told the ocean, bring it on, we're ready.
Right. But here's where it gets really cool.
Yeah.
They've also realized that sometimes nature has the best defenses of all.
Wait, are you about to tell me they trained dolphins to hold back the tides? Because at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised.
Not dolphins, but close. Think green, leafy, roots gripping the earth like it's going out of style. Mangroves?
Mangroves, hold on, those are just trees, right? What are they going to do?
But these aren't your average trees. Mangroves are like nature's own flood control system.
Oh, so.
They're roots. They grow super dense, all interwoven, and act like a natural barrier. They absorb that wave energy, stop erosion. It's incredible.
The unsung heroes of coastal protection.
Exactly. And get this. Mangroves can actually cut the impact of a storm surge by up to 0.5 meter for every kilometer of mangrove forest.
0.5 meter? That's huge. Especially when your city's basically at sea level. So they're using mangroves strategically then.
Oh, yeah. It's called the Guyana Mangrove Restoration Project. They've planted over 420,000 mangrove seedlings along the coast.
That's incredible. That's not just planting trees, that's rebuilding an entire ecosystem.
Right. They're working with nature, not against it.
Smart move. So we've got the city's resilience, its incredible mix of cultures, the whole battle against the elements. But I'm curious, what about the people?
What about them?
Georgetown's got to have some serious talent, right? What kind of people has the city produced?
You're ready to meet the people behind the place, huh?
Absolutely.
Get ready to be impressed, because this city has some serious talent. We're talking people who've made their mark on the world stage.
Okay, give me names. Who are we adding to our mental map of Georgetown?
Let's start with a name you might recognize from the big screen, Letitia Wright.
Hold on, Letitia Wright. As in Shuri from Black Panther. She's from Guyana.
Born and raised. Well, she moved to the UK later on, but her roots are in Georgetown.
You're kidding. I had no idea.
It's amazing, right?
It just goes to show you talent can come from anywhere.
Exactly. And speaking of global talent, Georgetown's musical influence is huge. Have you ever heard of Eddie Grant?
Electric Avenue. Come on, that's a classic.
And he's Guyanese.
No way. See, I'm sensing a theme here. From superhero blockbusters to iconic music, Georgetown's got its fingerprints everywhere.
And it goes beyond pop culture, too. Let's talk about Chetty Jagan.
Okay, who is Chetty Jagan?
This guy was instrumental in Guyana's fight for independence from Britain.
So a major historical figure.
Absolutely. He became Guyana's first premier, and then its president. A true giant in their history.
Wow. And you know what? It's one thing to read about a place, but to hear these stories about real people, it just makes it so much more vivid.
Right. It makes it real. And the story doesn't end there. There are artists today keeping those traditions alive, pushing boundaries, making Georgetown this vibrant cultural hub. Take Rudy Boise Bishop, for example.
Rudy Boise Bishop. Okay, that name's familiar, but I can't place it.
He's a steel pan player.
Oh, okay.
And not just any steel pan player. They call him the king of steel pans.
Okay, no, that's a title.
Right. He's dedicated his life to preserving and promoting that unique musical tradition in Georgetown and around the world. And for those who love a good book, we can't forget about Edgar Mittelholzer.
Edgar Mittelholzer. All right, tell me more.
He was a Guyanese novelist. One of the first from the Caribbean to gain international recognition for his work, actually.
Wow. What kind of stuff did he write?
His novels often dealt with things like racial tension, colonialism, the search for identity. You know, those big questions that resonated in the Caribbean and beyond. He died tragically young, but his work is seeing a revival lately.
It's like we struck gold with all this talent coming out of Georgetown.
Yeah.
Honestly, I never realized how much of a global impact this place has.
And we're just scratching the surface here, really.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah. Think about it, the music, the literature, even the food, all these different avenues to explore.
Ugh, the food. Don't even get me started. You had me at fusion of flavors. But seriously, after all this, I'm convinced Georgetown needs to be on everyone's travel bucket list.
100%. Seeing those wooden buildings for yourself, wandering through those markets with all those incredible smells.
I can only imagine.
It's something else. An experience you won't forget.
Well, you've convinced me, Georgetown. Here I come. But in all seriousness, this whole deep dive has been eye-opening. Who knew a place like this could hold so many stories, so much history?
That's the thing about a place like Georgetown, right? It reminds you that there are these hidden gems all over the world just waiting for people to discover them.
And each one with its own unique story to tell.
Exactly.
So to everyone listening, if this sparked even a little bit of curiosity, go check out some Guyanese music, try a new recipe, or even just pull up a map and explore the streets of Georgetown virtually.
Because sometimes the best journeys are the ones that take you outside of your comfort zone. The ones that make you see the world a little differently.
And hey, you never know, you might just discover something new about yourself along the way.
There you had it. Short but thought-provoking, right? We do need to continue to explore our roots as Caribbean people in order to understand and appreciate how far we've come. Thank you for joining us on the Aaron Darcy Project. Please do share your thoughts on this and our other content. We welcome your comments. Please like and share this and our other videos with your friends and others, and please consider subscribing to our channel. We look forward to your company on the next episode of the Aaron Darcy Project. Goodbye for now.